In the years just before the establishment of the Institute, my father was in Hungary trying to get a float line built, a glass manufacturing facility built. And Hungary was still behind the Iron Curtain at that time. You know, the wall hadn't come down.
And I think one of the things he saw was that there wasn't a lot of understanding of market principles.
It was 1992, there was a lot going on in the world right then.
The recent collapse of communism, the fall of the Berlin Wall, the demise of the Soviet Union. There would be a pull back to the command system if the new market economies didn't work for people.
And so my father decided, you know, we've got to help educate people in market economics. And that led directly to the establishment of the William Davidson Institute.
If you look at William Davidson's opening speech when the William Davidson Institute was started, he talks about the need to develop the knowledge of how to operate in a market-based economy. I think its timing was just about perfect because that's when all these opportunities were appearing, and they weren't just in the former Soviet Union, Eastern Europe. They were in other economies around the world.
I think the 25th anniversary is often a time to reflect a little bit on what's been accomplished. And I know when Bill Davidson was alive, he always took a lot of pleasure from the impact that the WDI was having in a number of countries around the world.
Goldman Sachs had a 10,000 Women initiative where they wanted to develop entrepreneurs in low-income countries around the world.
They came to WDI because the WDI had done some work already in Rwanda, asked if WDI could help, which we were obviously delighted to do.
Half the world's population is women, and in a lot of places they don't have the access to education at all.
And it was a wonderful opportunity to work with a number of women from various villages throughout the country to help them develop a business plan, understand the principles of sort of running a business in a fairly basic way.
I am Marie Claire Uamahoro. I own a dairy farm. I applied for the Goldman Sachs program because I wanted to develop my business skills. This has been so important to me when I compare my yield in the past to the one I have today. I see a very big difference.
I think one of the more remarkable institutions that WDI has worked with for actually a number of years is the Aravind Eye Institute in India. WDI assisted them at their request in organizing their sort of administrative side.
As Aravind Eye Care system expands beyond India and ventures into Africa, I think we will have a lot of challenges that will impede us from reaching our goals. As an organization, we look forward to having a research organization like WDI trying to help us overcome those challenges, and together we can make a difference.
Our view was that our faculty and students together could contribute a lot to the knowledge and proficiency of these companies, and in exchange, they would have a great learning experience.
This is truly a differentiator for us, and it really allows us to take everything that we learned in the classroom and use that to solve a real-life challenge. And so the particular project that I was working on was an agricultural initiative that targeted women in rural areas of India. And the idea behind it was to create a sustainable business model that would allow women to feel empowered enough to purchase their own agricultural inputs like fertilizers, pesticides, seeds, and feel a sense of ownership over the farms and the land that they have in their family.
And I remember one time a group that had worked in Poland came back, and part of their report was the workspace had previously been the office where the Communist Party officials had their office. And I remember that it just tickled Bill to think that offices previously occupied by Communist Party bigwigs in a manufacturing plant were now being occupied by students, all under the heading of the Davidson Institute. I think it sort of encapsulated for him the kind of from-to that we were involved in.
I think WDI has done a terrific job of managing to stay focused on the most challenging parts of the world economy, where their kind of assistance can really make the biggest difference.
But the basic premise that business models are going to play an important role in developing these countries, and that education is a critical piece of that, is something that has held true throughout the 25-year history of WDI. Bill Davidson expressed this sentiment in his dedication speech in 1992 when he said, "The Institute's mission is to equip economic decision makers in these emerging countries with the tools of commercial success." WDI remains committed to his original mission by continuing to bring market-based solutions to low and middle-income countries around the world.